Well, here we are. We're at the silt dump. I've just got a rather major achievement, being able to drive out from past where the digger on the swamp tracks are. Only because the dirt has improved. This is a great achievement. As you can see, the dirt just, well, it's actually silt, which is more like mud. And today the stuff we got yesterday is quite dry, so I can actually drive on this stuff without sinking or getting stuck or getting wheels to track spin. Even though I got Apex tracks on a D65. Hey, it's a nice machine actually, good to drive. So we've got a long way to go. Got to get right across to those trees on the other side. You have the resident swamp hens and a couple of grey herons. They pick all the little bits and pieces they can find. There's some mulch down there you can see, but all this stuff here was originally way back there, and it has actually literally flowed out this way. This is quite incredible stuff, and you can see a bit of a, I might not be able to see it due to the glare, but there's a fence out there. Well, that was about 30 metres behind me, 20 metres behind me. That has been pushed out by this lava-like mud. This whole gully is going to be filled up. It's going to be about 750, 800,000 cubic metres / yards of silt coming in here. This whole valley gets filled in. So yeah, it's and then that water area down there is muddy silt, the fines that come up from the very end of, because the water came in from the flood which we had beginning of February, middle of February, came up here, deposited all the nice fines up here, which is like mud. The swamp hens are about the only thing that can walk across it, which you can see is one right about there, walking across the water, through the water. That stuff is just utter slop, about 2 foot of it up here. You cannot drive across it, you just sink right through it. I've dug a channel through it. Interesting stuff, quite a bit different than the old subdivision I was on. Quite the challenge some days. It has been on the first few days of the week, but it's Friday today, and I've got dirt, silt, which is dry enough for me to be able to drive on top of, which is actually about the first time I'll be able to get out this far, like I said. And it's going to be about 10 metres deep here where I'm sitting. So far we're about 10% of the way through the amount of silt we're getting in here. Where I'm sitting is stage 1. The other side over there, from my finger back to those trees, there's a fence line there. Well, that's stage 2. So there's a corner on the hill there, just there, that hillside, that's going to be taken off, and they're going to put a wall all the way along just inside. There's a stream along there above my finger, there's a stream, and they're going to have to put a rock wall all the way along there to contain this stuff, because when this stuff starts getting out there, it's just going to push all that slop straight back in the stream, and they're going to have fun otherwise. So that's an unexpected cost they didn't expect, but we saw it coming, so that's alright. Fun and games out this place. We're getting about 300 truckloads of silt in a day. They're just truck units. Some of the odd semi-unit coming in. We got 2 30-ton wheel dumpers, and we got 4 to 5 track dumpers carting this stuff. If it rains, we just won't be using the wheel dumpers, and that will get us behind, but hopefully we don't get too many trucks in. So our trucks start at 7:30 in the morning and go right through to 1 o'clock. So yesterday we had our 300 trucks in for the day, roughly. The only short day we had was Wednesday, where we had 240 trucks. So it's got its own unique challenges, this place. There's a whole lot of silt over the other side there. which all has to be leveled out. We can't even, I might be able to drive on it now on the crust, but once I break through the crust, yeah, nah, I ain't getting anywhere. And the same with this stuff here right in front of me. If I break through that dry crust on the top, I'm stuck. I literally am. They've just got another D6 over there in the distance. We had another one here, but they brought themselves their own with the same apex tracks. Strangely enough, it's come from the Antarctic. It's an ex-Antarctic D6 LGP. So yeah, but I will not drive that. I will stick to the Komatsu D65-17, which is quite nice to drive. So that's a little bit of what I'm doing lately. And oh, by the way, at the top of the hill there behind the trees, we have a quarry up there where we bring metal down for the roads. We also use crushed concrete, 4-inch plus or minus. Comes with its own reinforcing, which it really shouldn't do because with a crusher obviously doesn't have a very good magnet in it. Some of the rebar in it's, you know, 2 foot long by nearly 1 inch thick. Yeah, I'm sure the wheel dumpers would love that through their tyres. Plenty of other rubbish in here, because all of this silt comes from the orchards around here, which got flooded when the stop banks burst. As you can see, the guy in the swamp digger's having fun. You almost get seasick on that thing. He's sitting on swamp pads and they just rock around underneath him. He has to pick them up every now and then and redo them. So yeah, and we've got a seam of red metal in there in the hill there. Some of that's really like concrete. That's really hard, some of that. And then you got seams of dirt in it. So at the top we got a good quarry of metal, red metal, which is a unique thing I think to this area of New Zealand. It's actually quite good stuff, and if you get it out of the right quarry. So yeah, the water came from in the distance straight ahead down the middle. It backflowed up here and deposited all the fines, all the greasy mud up here, and all the coarse sandy silt of course is left by the river. So yeah, so the stuff what we're getting here is sort of something in between sand and grease. This is actually quite dry, so this stuff must be a bit coming from a place closer to the river, which is quite nice to push. So anyway, that's what I'm doing for update number whatever it is in my life. Yep, Digger Driver's there having to reposition his swamp pads because he slowly sinks on top of this stuff. So fun and games. At least it's a fine day. We had a whole fine week, so I'm happy. I'm happy with this fine weather. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. And if you like, subscribe and give us a thumbs up if you want. Any questions will be attempted to be answered if they're reasonable. Have a good time, folks. Thank you. This is our other tip head. We have 2 tip heads here. We did have 3, but the other ones just was really wet stuff. So there's the swamp digger over there. He's having fun. And just there is where I was taking the other video. So you can see how far I've made it across and how far this stuff has slopped itself out there. This tip head's a couple of meters higher than the other one. This is flowing out quite nicely down to there. And how many times a day do I get stuck? Well, that's a good question. I've only been stuck once today. And yesterday I got stuck 2 or 3 times. And the first 2 times yesterday were within half an hour of each other. So it varies as to how many times I get stuck. I think the most times I've been stuck in one day is 4 times, I think. So yeah, it all depends. It all does depend. Sometimes I'm lucky enough I can get out. That's a German Bergmann track dumper.
Dumper coming up.
We also have Cat LD 1000s, and we have a Prenoth Panther 12 T12 just going over there in front of the hill there. So yeah, it's all fun and games. But it's a beautiful day. That's all I can say. Thank you. Moving by itself, self-leveling dirt. And you wonder why earthworks is hard when your hillside's doing this, just leaking.
Dumper coming out.